100% honest. It's a big deal for Detroit. It's going to be a hole. It's going to be a player that's missed. So let's talk a little Josh Jacobs, man. Speaking of filling a void there, boy, did Goody hit a home run last year, Jacob, with this signing of Josh Jacobs, man. Just absolutely dominant. And if you don't think so, look at these numbers, man. And this actually did not update. I had a PFF grade in here as well, but Josh Jacobs set the tone for the 2024 Green Bay Packers, ranking towards the top of every statistical category in the NFL for running backs. He was actually the third highest graded running back, graded out in the 90s, according to PFF. Rushing yards, he finished sixth. Rushing touchdowns, he finished fourth with 15 rushing touchdowns. Rushing yards over expected, sixth. Rushing yards after contact, third. And then rushes of 10 yards or more, he had the sixth most in the entire league. So when you look at Josh Jacobs, sometimes you think, okay, well, he doesn't have that top-end speed. He's not a home run hitter. He can hit home runs when you need him to. And the fact that he had that many explosive runs just shows you how he truly does help the offense move down the field. Man, Josh Jacobs, what a signing by Brian Gutekunst.
Yeah, that's up there with one of the better signings. I mean, we've been kind of spoiled because for a long time, it seems like we went very few and far between when we would make any sort of splash in free agency. And then all of a sudden, obviously, we had the Smith brothers, Amos, Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, now getting guys that are brought in, obviously, with X, Josh Jacobs. And it's been pretty darn good. And that's, again, why I think that we have to give a little bit of leeway and really see how guys like Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks are going to pan out. But if the past is any indication of the future, then we should be excited and really get to see a couple guys that immediately help this. If they're going to follow the same pattern, they're going to step in, they're going to immediately help this team become better. I really do hope that that's what happens. With Josh Jacobs specifically, though, I mean, you couldn't ask for him to come in. What was the biggest thing that I said? You guys remember, I was very upset with the decision to let Aaron Jones go.
I was too.
I still am. You know, there's parts of me that still are butthurt about that for a number of different reasons. One of them just being the loyalty thing. And I just didn't think he was washed up, and the difference of $1 million and keeping him or letting him go to the Vikings was, to me, almost kind of incomprehensible. But I said it on the podcast. I said, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. And if Josh Jacobs comes in here and does everything he needs to do to the point where I am comfortable with the fact that we let Aaron Jones go, then he must have put on one hell of a show. And lo and behold, look what happened. Josh Jacobs came in and epitomized what it is to be a leader, what it is to be a team first guy, what it is to take a lot of the team on his shoulders and almost single-handedly change our running game. I don't remember the last time that we had a running game that you just could count on the fact that, like, hey, we're gonna grind it out. We're gonna be able to move the ball, and we're not gonna back away from it if it doesn't happen right away. And I'm at the point now where I am comfortable saying that I think Goot made the right decision. Now it's been 1 year. We need to see consistency. That's something that that Jones gave us was, you know, every year that he was going to at least give you his all. Doesn't mean he was going to play every game necessarily, but you knew the games he was playing, the dude was going to give his best, right? And I think that Josh Jacobs, specifically with what he said at the end of the year and how he took that on as a leader and said, hey, we need to get this and this right, and we need to do this and that, and didn't shy away from it when even people started, you know, there was a little bit of brushback, even possibly from some of our own players, you know, that tweeted some maybe decipherable type tweets and then maybe backtracked. I'm cool with what he did because he's the guy that earned it. He's one of those guys where if you speak up, he deserves to be listened to because of what he did. And I think the team hopefully respected it and didn't take it personally. And I don't think they did. Yeah.
Judy in the chat says, I also don't feel like we gave Jacobs an elite offensive line. So it was Jacobs doing a lot of the special work. I completely agree with that. And I think Greg Rice pointed out here, was Jacobs' yard to contact like 2 yards unacceptable, if that is correct? It was something crazy. He really did make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what. There's no two ways about that. And
poop.
Yeah, poopy. And we'll have to beep that out. So the other thing too is like trying to understand what the scheme is asking the offensive lineman to do. The biggest black eye on that offensive line was definitely Josh Myers. And I don't mean to keep piling on, but man, when you would see them set up the hat count perfect and you'd see Myers get to the second level and just completely whiff. And it's like, for someone who moves as well as him, the burst he's got, the size he's got, the arm, everything that you would want in a oversized center, you know, with the flexibility, I don't want to say versatility, but just the athleticism. And then he gets to the point of attack, and it's like, Mike Wall said, how you arrive at confrontation determines how you handle confrontation. It doesn't matter, if you get there or not. If you get there and you're not under control, you're not under balance, you don't know where to place your hands, you don't know how to keep your feet under, you don't know how to play with leverage, it don't make a hill of beans. That's why some players that in the history of the game that had, low athletic scores went on to be great offensive linemen because they just understood leverage. They understood how to run block. And that's something that I felt like Myers held us back on. I'll tell you another one too is Rasheed Walker. As much as we talk up Rasheed Walker and we love Rasheed Walker, and man, has he been a great 7th round pick, his run blocking is not that good, bub, So that's another reason why you look up and go, it's going to be hard to pay him top 5 tackle money when really he just does half of the job description well, And don't get me wrong, he does it really well, I believe, pass blocking, but run blocking definitely an issue there for sure. 2-0 for this in the chat says Jones is a Packer through and through, so it's so bittersweet letting Williams wear 33. I think we would all somewhat agree with that. Chris Casual says JJ and AJ 33 should have been something, man. It really should have. And I still, that's the part that hurt me, Jacob, was you were $1 million off of what the Vikings gave him. And the thought of those two being your 1A and 1B. Now, would Jonesy have been as good as Emanuel Wilson? I think he would have been as good, definitely, probably better. However, when you looked at just how well Emanuel Wilson ran last year, I want to say he actually graded out higher than Jonesy. We'll hit that here in a second.
Emanuel Wilson, I always laugh because I think it was this morning's Ryan podcast where I think he went through realistic expectations for each player on the offense and the defense within reason. And with him, when he got to Emanuel Wilson, he's like, just keep doing what you're doing, buddy. I don't know why, but it seems like the Packers just want to get rid of you. Just like they randomly want to get rid of all the people that just do nothing but show us consistently over and over and over that they deserve to be on the field. But for whatever reason, he's like, I'm scared they're going to get rid of you. So just keep doing what you're doing. And I understand in theory what he's saying. I really do, because it seems like for whatever reason, Emanuel Wilson, he went so far to say that he's a top 20 back in the NFL, which if you look at the numbers, it's there. Look right,
he's the 12th highest graded running back at 82.9. By the way, Aaron Jones is 19th at 75.4. So as much as I want to continue to say what Chris is saying here, Chris, I agree with you. Like I've talked about it as much as anyone. Like,
we'll always have that 45 minutes where we thought it was true.
Oh, bro, it's like, this is going to be unbelievable because Goody came out and said they were bringing Aaron Jones back. Yeah. And then it goes to, oh, crap, are we getting 2022 Josh Jacobs or 2023 Josh Jacobs? We got even better than 2022 Josh Jacobs. We got 2024 Josh Jacobs. I mean, that dude came out the gate swinging, as you see here. He finished third, 92.3. And his receiving grade is what's wild, 89.2 receiving grade. Come on. So, again, when you look at it just from a PFF standpoint, and it's not everything, Emanuel Wilson, man, it's hard to find a better backup. I mean, let's look at it real quick. Is there a team with two logos the same? It looks like Atlanta Falcons, right? So the Atlanta Falcons have Bijan Robinson at 92.8, and then they've got David Montgomery at 85.9. And then who'd you say, Detroit? Yeah, Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs, 90.1, David Montgomery, 85.9, right?
Tampa, that guy's got a limited – he's got 112 snaps,
Right, yeah. And Emanuel Wilson did grade out higher than him at 82.9. So just interesting to kind of look at, that running back tandem. And one thing you will notice, there's several teams here that's got multiple backs toward the top of the list. You notice that? You got Justice Hill with Baltimore along with Derrick Henry, who led the way to 94.1.
Seattle.
That's very, very interesting there. So Seattle, same thing. You got Zach Charbonnet at 77.5 down there. And, of course, their starting or their highest graded running back, Kenneth Walker, the third, 88.5. So it was somewhat common to have multiple backs. Nonetheless, so Emanuel Wilson, I think he's going to be solid, man. So let's see here. Joseph in the chat says, go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, while we're talking about the running backs and the backups at that, Joseph earlier said, is Lloyd ever going to be healthy? Have the guys covered what exactly is still going on with him these past few days? I've been MIA. We did talk about it, and it was more of we were both, I think, kind of, I wouldn't say disappointed. I mean, yeah, maybe that is, but it seems like he's just got a injury that they're trying to, I don't know, what are they doing, Clay? They're buffering it again, but it's like, it does seem worrisome that even after solid months of doing nothing, that he's not out there, at least just even running. That to me was a little concerning for sure. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, if anybody knows what the issue, I want to say somebody mentioned it in the chat the other day, and I didn't know it was news.
That's what I was trying to remember what it was specifically.
If you guys know what's going on with Marshawn Lloyd, is there a specific injury? Is there something? I mean, I don't. Again, I didn't look up at the injuries last year and go, man, this guy's injury prone. It just looked like bad luck. I mean, for God's sakes, his appendix ruptured. Like you had to have a emergency appendectomy, right? Like I don't know of an exercise or a training that you can do to prevent that, right? So, Atham says his biceps are too big and short. There you go. All right, appreciate that. Dynamite drop in, Monty. Joseph also said, I prefer Jacobs over Jones. I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm with you, man. And again, look at the PFF. And again, it's not everything, but hell, the stats we talked about. He was better than Aaron Jones in every statistical category, just about, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, for sure. Let's see here. 2-0 for this says the combo of Jacobs and Jones could be absolutely unstoppable. Let Jacobs be the bell cow and Jones be the knockout. That's kind of the way I felt about it too. But I will say this about our boy Emanuel Wilson, Jacob. He ain't afraid to bounce that thing out. Like, when you look at the way he's built, you wouldn't imagine he can make the cuts he makes to get outside. But I always go back to the preseason game, and I know it was preseason, but he had that awesome run. I think it was not last preseason, but the one before. It might have been last year. Gary Ellerson, former Packers running back, said that's not normal. I remember him talking about on the podcast. That cut and that vision is not normal. That's when I was like, okay, when a former NFL running back talks like that about a fellow running back, that's you want to kind of keep your eyes open, right? So pay attention. Going back to that video that I had up, and then we'll move along here. I just want to one of my favorite Josh Jacobs runs of the year. I don't know if you remember this or not, Jacob, but this was absolutely awesome. This was against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're going to see it regular speed, and then we'll go slow motion. But this is what we're talking about with the cutback, right? Now, I want to say, let's watch the footwork. See if this is a counter. Yeah, this is it kind of sets up like normal run, but it's a counter. That jump, hop step, whatever you want to call it, breaking the tackle. Watch it in slow motion, Jacob. And watch the dirt kick up, too. Watch right here. This cut.
That's pretty cool.
Sick. And then running through arm tackle. Look, Christian Watson down there doing just enough. And I was, okay, we ain't done yet. My man's still going. So, just an absolutely awesome cut. Let's watch it again a couple of times here.
Can we watch it from the very beginning?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that first two where he gets kind of in the wash right there, that cut. And then, oh, man.
Yeah. Actually, let's just go back to the regular speed.
Like just about because like the ability to stop right there and then boom.
Heck of a run, dude. Whoop, whoop. Body's just flying everywhere, man. That's my favorite part, though. If I can pause it just in time here, Jacobs. Right here. Look at this guy. Look at that poor bastard. Look. He
skipped. He skipped like you when you're getting pulled behind the boat by your dad and he's just trying to make you bail. He hit the water. Like
I love it. These should be some screen grabs right here. Watch this.
Look at
Could watch it all day. So again, Josh Jacobs, man, you got to tip your cap to Goody. We're all critical of Goody from time to time. But man, oh man, that dude, he knocked that one out of the park. He absolutely crushed it. And again, a good reminder, if I remember correctly, Josh Jacobs' RAS coming out of the draft, or into the draft, I should say, out of college, in the 5s. So
was it really?
Got to be real careful about putting too much value on that RAS score, So
what are your thoughts on Mr. Coach Lynn saying Wilson's a dog? Do we keep 4 running backs?
Great question. Let me get your take on it, Jacob. I'm going to go look real quick and see what we broke camp with.
The thing is I don't know, man. It all depends on Marshawn Lloyd, because if he – at this point, obviously, like, don't take this the wrong way. I wouldn't pray for an injury, but if he is still dealing with any sort of like rehab, or even if he's quote unquote dealing with something, we can slip him onto some sort of IR, get through that 53, carry only 3 because I would assume that they're not going to even let Wilson. You can't let Wilson test free agency, right? You can't let Chris Brooks probably. He's got too much tape. Maybe. I don't know. I definitely would not risk Wilson. I think they like Chris Brooks too much to let him go. Obviously, we don't got no more AJ. The Marshawn Lloyd thing is just the one that's I don't know. I don't know what to think about that anymore. He scares me. It's like he reminds me of like the Bakhtiari situation where it's like, oh, he's gonna be ready to go, and then 2.5 years later, like, you know what I mean? That scares me a little bit.
Yeah, just going through the chat here and trying to get everybody's take here. Let's see. Joseph says, "Poopy." I about said the word, Joseph. You're gonna get me in trouble. Poopy. Lloyd is gonna be on IR. LOL. You know, if he starts on the pup or on IR, then that's one spot that you're kind of saving there. Not that you want him on IR, you want him healthy. But we broke camp last year, Jacob, with 3 running backs: Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emanuel Wilson. Greg Rice says, "Does Savon Williams mean one less running back?" I don't think so, Greg. I don't think so. I think you carry at least 3, possibly 4. But if I'm cutting one, it's Chris Brooks, because like, who was it that said here? 2-0 for this says Emanuel Wilson would never last on the practice squad. Chris Brooks was on our practice squad, right? Mm-hmm. So that would suggest, okay, he would last a little longer on the practice squad than maybe Emanuel Wilson would not last 2 seconds. I think there's enough tape out there that he would be signed so quick.
I agree.
It would make your head spin. So I think that's a great point there, 2-0 for this. Coach Lynn points out, though, we need what Chris Brooks can do also. Man, that dude did great catching the ball in the backfield, being a blocking back as well, almost like a hybrid H when we're running the pony package. That was another aspect of his game. His pass protection is good. Matt LaFleur, when he talked him up, Jacob, when we picked him up off the scrap heap, I remember rolling my eyes like, okay, man, I don't know. If he's so great, then why is he available? And then lo and behold, every time he got an opportunity, it seemed like he just held his own, man. It was like, wow, he is as advertised for sure.
Yeah. I love it even more because my best friend's name is Tony Brooks, and he has an older brother named Chris. Let's just say Chris is a little bit of an underachiever, but when we had the ability to be like, Chris Brooks playing for the Packers, it kind of made his day. He wasn't quite the worst son anymore. I'm weird thinking that even last year when you look back at the guys we released, I thought Ellis Merriweather played great. Nate McCrary even looked decent in certain preseason stuff. It's like we really do have a good way of, at least lately, it feels like we're of a really good scouting team and the ability to find really good running backs that are like diamonds in the rough, which is not easy to do. I really do think there's no way Emanuel Wilson, you can't tell me that a team like Dallas or that Cincinnati that are desperate for running backs aren't going to go and try to take a stab at him.
Yeah. And going back to the question of, do you keep one less running back because of Savon Williams? I don't think you do. However, Savon Williams he's going to make the roster, obviously. He's going to be on the initial 53 barring any training camp injury. It does make me look at this wide receiver room where we broke camp with 6. Somebody's not going to be here, boys. I mean, you're talking about adding Matthew Golden, right? We only carried 6. Now let's count them off. Matthew Golden and Savon Williams are locks, right? Romeo Dobbs, that's 3. Christian Watson, 4. Jaden Reed, 5. Dontavion Wicks, 6.
Would Watson be pup though, right?
Yeah, you're right. Watson would be pup. So Malik Heath and Bo Melton is what it's going to come down to there. You know, I would keep Malik Heath over Bo Melton. That's me personally. However, Bo Melton's got that speed. He actually had a faster 40 than Christian Watson. So maybe he would be harder to keep on the practice squad than a Malik Heath. I could see that argument too. But nonetheless, man, we know those 3 running backs are going to make the roster if they're healthy, right? So now the question is, do you carry Chris Brooks? And I think you probably don't. To me, he would be the guy out, as bad as that hurts me to say that. But again, having Savon Williams with a little bit of running back, experience at the college level, that's a nice little, it's kind of like Colin Oliver on defense, Jacob. We talked about how him being able to play stack backer and rush the passer. That gives you a little added versatility there. Now, and who knows, we get into training camp, they may lock him at stack backer and go, we ain't want to rush him on the edge. Or they may lock him at the edge and say he's never going to play stack backer. But the fact that he's got that experience, he's got the football IQ, the FBI to get that done, I think it's absolutely huge. So anything else you want to see on this initial 53 before I drop it down, Jake? Anything at all from last year?
No, that should be all right.
All right, good deal. All right, so and there is your running back talk of the day. I'll keep that off to the side in case we want to reference it again here in a second. Actually, Josh Jacobs, let's continue here with Josh Jacobs for just a second. I want to show his career trajectory before we moved on. And, so last year in terms of the season grades, the big thing here is availability. My God, that dude's staying healthy all year long, But here are his PFF grades by week: 64, 75, 77, 63, 78, 74, 65, 76, 65, 71, 86, 86, 68, 60, 90, 71, and 76. So the floor for Josh Jacobs last year was a 60.5 PFF grade, and the ceiling was a 90.4. So, man, whenever your worst game, you never dip out of the 60s and your ceiling is a 90, just solid performance all the way around. Now, starting in 2019 season by season, 87, 76, 77, 91, 91. So we got the best version of Josh Jacobs. There's no two ways about it, man. So excited to see what he does in year 2 of Matt LaFleur's offense. They're going to get really creative. I think we'll pull away from the run a touch this year because teams are going to be keying in on it. And I think we may press into the pass just a touch more, as obviously last year we ran the ball in terms of percentage run to pass ratio. It was 51 or 52% of the time we ran the ball. And if I remember correctly, that was the most since 2002 or 2003 when we had that power running game under Mike Sherman with Amon Green and William Henderson blocking and Mike Wall and those big hog mollies up front running those power plays. So it's going to be fun to see what Josh Jacobs does years 2.
It's crazy. I don't think of Josh Jacobs of being having 6 years in the league and almost having 7,000 rushing yards. Like that's impressive. Not many guys get to that in their carear. They just don't.
I think
he's already up in some rare air. If he can do it another 3 years, cross that 10,000 yard mark, like that's impressive.
I think it's a great point, man. Those type of guys, if they stay healthy and they create that longevity. Now, listen, I don't know how long it'd be with the Packers. The reality of his contract is his deal is up this year. People were going, whoa, Clayton, he's got 2 years left on the deal. I know he's got 2 years left, but we talked about this. It was essentially a 2-year deal. And what we mean by that is the majority, if not all, the guaranteed money is gone. And I heard Wildy and Tausch talking about this earlier today. What's going to happen there is he's going to pull an Elton Jenkins, and rightfully so. He's going to look at the Packers, go, hey, can I get a little bit guaranteed money here? And they're going to have to make a decision. And they should, with the way he's played. If he plays like that again and he stays healthy again this year, you got to give him another little bite at the apple in that regard. And the thing is, when you guarantee more money, it gives you more cap flexibility, playing cash over cap. So it's just something to keep an eye on there because, again, that's why it was even more as impressive of a signing because not only did Goody bring that dude in here and completely change the running game and take it to another level, but what he also did it in a safe manner where it's like, hey, this is really just a 2-year deal. Now, Josh Jacobs could say, you know what, I'm just going to play on my current deal and not upset anything. And if he does that, kudos to him. But if he does say, hey, I want some more guaranteed money, let's, as a fan base, agree. He earned that. And let's not go out there and try to drag the dude through the mud because he's a team leader. He's a locker room guy. He's doing it on the field as well. I just want to say that. I want to be very, very vocal on my stance with that for sure. So Drew D says Jacobs is only 27. We should keep him for a while. I agree. Again, he's under contract through 29, if I remember correctly, through the age of 29. So at that point, you got to make a serious decision. And here's the other thing they pointed out earlier today too. Marshawn Lloyd may take off by that point. And you look up and go, damn, Marshawn Lloyd's better than Jacobs now if he takes that step and stays healthy and all that. Now, I know we're a long way away from that. But if that does happen, that's the NFL, man. It's just, all right, roll the next dude through at running back. It's kind of what teams have done at offensive line for sure. So, great point there, Drew. He's definitely still fairly young